Is everything conscious? Is anything conscious? Is consciousness something objects have, or something that makes a world appear at all? This is Dimensions. I'm Bill. I'll be your host for today's episode. Today we're going to talk about consciousness, not in a mystical way, not in a technical way, at least not at first, but in the most ordinary way possible. Right now you are having an experience. You see, you hear, you think. It feels obvious that you are conscious. But what about a bird, a tree, a rock, an atom? And what about other people? You know that you are conscious, but how do you know that anyone else is? You've never seen anyone else's experience. You've never touched it. You've never observed it. You only see bodies, faces, words, behavior. Everything else is inference. Some people say everything is conscious. Some say only brains are. Some say consciousness is everywhere. Some say it is produced by matter. But what if the real mistake is this? What if consciousness is not something that things have at all? This is where dimensional rendering theory begins. DRT doesn't ask whether matter becomes conscious or whether consciousness is hidden inside matter. It asks something more basic. What kind of thing would consciousness have to be for any world to appear at all? And the answer is strange. Consciousness is not a property of objects. It is not inside brains. It is not hidden in atoms. It is not spread across the universe like a subtle mist. Consciousness is what rendered reality looks like from the inside. And that leads to a precise but unsettling conclusion. From within a perspective, nothing is conscious. Rocks are not conscious. Trees are not conscious. Atoms are not conscious. But neither are they unconscious. Consciousness simply does not apply to objects at all. Objects appear within consciousness. They are not encountered as consciousness. To ask whether a rock is conscious is like asking whether a word is a speaker. You are confusing the field of appearance with the things that appear inside it. Materialism says consciousness is produced by brains. Panpsychism says consciousness is everywhere. But both make the same mistake. They treat consciousness as a thing that could belong to other things. Dimensional rendering theory rejects this entirely. According to DRT, the reality we experience is a rendered dimensional slice. Space, time, objects, causation, identity. These are not the substrate itself. They are how the substrate becomes intelligible. Consciousness is part of that same translation. It is what substrate contact looks like from inside a coherent perspective. Matter and consciousness are like two sides of the same coin. One side is structural, the other is experiential. Neither side causes the other. They appear together or not at all. They are two facets of the same act of dimensional rendering. What you call matter is rendering seen from the outside. What you call experience is rendering seen from the inside. Once you see this, the so-called hard problem of consciousness starts to look not deep but confused. It's like asking how the head side of a coin produces the tail side. It doesn't. They come together or not at all. In DRT's vocabulary, the hard problem isn't hard. It's ill-posed. It's built out of a category mistake. And this brings us to a crucial idea, the locus of perspective. Consciousness appears only when rendering produces a unified center of experience. A point of view, a continuous field of presence across time. Where such a locus exists, experience exists. Where it does not, the question of consciousness does not apply. Atoms do not lack consciousness. They are simply not the kind of thing to which consciousness could meaningfully belong. You never encounter consciousness in the world. You encounter the world in consciousness. Even other people do not appear to you as conscious. They appear as bodies, behaviors, expressions, and patterns. Their experience, if any, is not visible. Consciousness is not something you observe. It is something you are where it occurs. Consciousness feels fundamental because you cannot step outside it. But that does not make it the ground of reality. A coordinate system is unavoidable for navigation, but it is not the terrain. A language is unavoidable for thought, but it is not the world. Consciousness is unavoidable for appearance, but it is not the substrate. So here is the strange truth. From a locus of perspective, nothing is conscious. Consciousness is not something you find in the world. It is the world finding itself. It is not an object. It is not a property. It is the visibility of rendering itself. And beneath rendering, beneath space, time, matter, identity, and experience lies something that is not conscious and not unconscious, but prior to both. That is the dimensionless ground. And consciousness is what happens when appearance becomes visible from within. This has been Dimensions. Thank you for watching. If these ideas intrigued you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you found this meaningful, please consider subscribing, following, and sharing this episode. And join me in future episodes where we'll continue exploring deep questions about reality, consciousness, and the limits of what we think we know.